I was ready to become an entrepreneur. You get tired, you get frustrated. I really wanted it. Something very big happened. I had my first... What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today you guys are in for a treat. I'm gonna be sharing a story that I haven't really shared anywhere else, and that is my e-commerce journey. How I went from making $49 paychecks to over $100,000 a month. And no, this is not one of those clickbait things. This actually happened. One of the biggest comments I get on social media is when haters are like, oh, you didn't earn your money, it's mommy and daddy's money. Well, unfortunately for them, we live in the era of social media. So what I did is I went back into my old social media. I took a look at all the old videos that I used to capture along my journey, and I pulled all the receipts. This is not going to be a video where I just tell you a story and sit in front of the camera. No, I'm actually pulling old footage from my old social media to show you where I was on my journey. Maybe you're along your journey. Maybe you'll be able to relate to some of this, but most importantly, you'll be able to see that this was not easy. This success, this penthouse, this was not easy. I had to work towards this. So stay tuned. If you're new to this channel, my name is Rene, and I'm documenting my life as a 26-year-old millionaire / entrepreneur. Before I get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let's keep this channel growing. Let's keep it booming. Comment everything you want to see. I want to do whatever it is, whether it's a challenge, whether it's more educational, whether it's lifestyle. You tell me and I'll make that video for you because I want to build this community. Like, comment, subscribe, get that algorithm on our side, and let's get into it. Let's start with the $49 paycheck. This was in 2012. I was 17 years old. I was working at the mall folding clothes, this store called Aeropostale. Depending on where you're from, you might know what that is. At the time, minimum wage was what, like $7.50, $8 an hour? Working at the mall, they don't give you that many hours. The paycheck was $49. It wasn't a lot. To me, I was 17. I didn't come from much. My mom didn't really have money, so to me, $49 still helped. I was able to buy some food, some shirts, whatever I really needed. But in the grand scheme of things, $49 was not a lot. At the time, it was my senior year in high school, so I was still trying to figure my life out. I didn't know what I wanted to do necessarily. A lot of you guys might be in the same position where you're trying to find a passion. And that's completely okay, because what happened next to me is where I started my journey. I was in high school and I had to pick a book to read in order to graduate. I was looking at some books to read. I was trying to figure it out. And I stumbled on the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, did that book turn me into a millionaire? No, it didn't. It did something even better. It got me started on the journey. It gave me something I was interested in. And I think that's so important for anyone that's trying to find their passion, is to find something you're interested in and let that pull you. For me, entrepreneurship piqued my interest. Here's the thing, I wasn't interested enough to really dive deep into it and go super hard until I saw a movie. And that movie is The Wolf of Wall Street.
Who will not hang up the phone until their client either buys or fucking die!
I know this is probably the most cliche thing ever. It's probably not the best example of why you should be motivated to do things, but I saw the movie Wolf of Wall Street and that set me on fire. I was ready to go. I was ready to become an entrepreneur. I knew it was meant for me. And that's when I decided to do my research and start grinding, figuring out how to make money. It made me hungry. If you're watching this video and you're hungry, you need to be diving into things. Otherwise, you're not. That means you don't really want it. I really wanted it. And that's why I jumped into everything. What happens when you're hungry? You take as many opportunities as you can. A sales job landed in my lap and I took that opportunity. I landed at a sales job. Out of all things, it was sales, and it was selling cars. It's not necessarily the millionaire opportunity I was looking for. I wasn't a business owner, entrepreneur yet. Again, not the most noble profession. People make fun of used car salesmen all the time. And for me, working there, I wasn't sure what to expect. And then something happened and I realized it. My pay was finally up to me. When you're working an hourly job where you have a salary, it gets easy to get lazy. You don't have to be hungry because you know at the end of every 2 weeks or end of every month, you're gonna get a paycheck and it's always going to be the same. That's good and bad. It's good because you're comfortable, but it's bad because you get complacent. You no longer want to go up. You have no need to be hungry. With me, when I realized that my pay was directly up to me, something clicked in my head. So you're saying that if I work more or work harder, I make more money? And that trained me at a very young age. Again, I was like 19 at the time, around 2014, 2015. So with a sales job, I could finally make more. Long story short, I got really good. When I realized that my pay was up to me, I did everything. I read books on how to sell stuff. I watched movies. I watched YouTube videos. Everything I could possibly do I did it to get very, very good at sales at my job because I knew if I got better, I would make more money. Around 2016, 4 years after I was making a $49 paycheck, I got a paycheck for $3,000. Imagine how I feel. Imagine how you would feel. I was a 21-year-old kid, not used to making this much money. And then all of a sudden, I went from making $49 paychecks to $3,000 paychecks. I was ecstatic. And the first thing I did was hit social media. Take a look. Yo, I'm so proud of my come up. 49 bucks and one paycheck in 2012. 3 G's, one paycheck in 2016. I was in full attack mode. I was ready to conquer the world. When I told myself I went from $49 paychecks to $3,000 paychecks and I did that, nothing could stop me. I was so fired up. And that's something you have to do. If you are trying to succeed, you have to count the little wins as wins. And that's what you have to do. If you're trying to be successful, you have to appreciate all of the little wins in your life. Because $3,000 every 2 weeks, when I think about it now, is not a lot. But I didn't think like this back then. To me, at the time, it was the greatest thing ever. I was appreciating my win and I was letting my win drive me to more wins. So in that Snapchat story, you see me say something along the lines of, look how far I got from 2012 to 2016. Imagine how far I'm gonna be in 2017. I wasn't wrong, I was manifesting it and I was making it true. Those $3,000 paychecks changed my life. I had never experienced money before. My mom only made 40 grand a year my entire life. So I didn't know what it was like making $3,000 every 2 weeks. If you do the math, that equals out to about $80,000 a year. Imagine being 21, making $80,000 a year. What would you do? I upgraded my entire life and I couldn't get enough. I finally started dating a pretty girl. I got a nice car. I moved down to my own apartment. It was a townhouse. It felt so cool and I wanted to keep going. The thing about money, success, accomplishing your goals that you set, it's addictive. I decided selling cars was not enough for me anymore, and that's when I started selling services. When I started selling services, that's when I really went crazy. Check out this snap. Yes, that is me in 2017 working at a sales job. I was working 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day. And guess what? It paid off. I was making around $3,000 a week just from that job alone. And one thing I realized, that education was important. As someone that dropped out of college, I didn't think education was important. But when I saw my paychecks go up, the more books I read, the more I learned about sales, I realized, ooh, I'm onto something. This is a cheat code. Do the math. $3,000 a week times 52 weeks, I was making about 150 grand a year at 22 years old. I was on top of the world. That was my biggest win to date. I was just as happy when I went from 49 to 3,000 every 2 weeks. I doubled my pay and I was just as happy because I was appreciating those wins. Imagine me as a 17-year-old kid making $49 per paycheck to then 4 years later making $3,000 per paycheck to then a year later making $3,000 a week. I had momentum. I wanted to keep going, but something happened. I got tired. I burned out. I realized that it wasn't sustainable to work 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, every single day. You get tired, you get frustrated, you start performing not as good. You start performing. So for me, it was back to the drawing board. I needed to figure out a way to stop trading my time for money. And that's when I stumbled on e-commerce. I started my whole education all over again. I had learned sales, I got really, really good at it, but I realized there's no way that I can make this into $1 million business where I don't have to work, where I can be on an island with a bunch of pretty girls, because that was my goal at the time. And I did the same thing when I was learning sales. I bought a bunch of books, I looked at courses, I went on YouTube. I did everything I can to get on top of my game to learn e-commerce as fast as possible. And that's when I started my first e-commerce store. It was actually a jewelry store. We sold astrology necklaces. So ladies, if you ask me anything about astrology, I'll tell you the right answer every single time. It was my first success in business. We made $320 in 2 days. Check out the Snapchat. Now, this is the reason most people don't succeed. Imagine you're at a job making 150 grand a year. You try really hard to start a business. You put all this work in and your business only makes $300 in 2 days. I felt like a baby again, but here's the thing, something happened inside of me. Same thing that happened when I turned my $49 paycheck into a $3,000 paycheck, same thing that happened when I made $3,000 in a week. I realized I was free. I no longer had to trade my time for money. I had a business. I realized that yeah, even though I didn't make as much money, I didn't have to trade my time for this money. And this is something that I own. I can't get fired from this. I can make my own schedule. All I have to do is find a way to make make this better. If you're in a position right now where you're trying to start a business, or you're looking for ways to make more money, you might feel the same way. You might feel trapped in your job, in your 9 to 5. At the end of the day, it's not yours. You are not free. And here's the thing about success. I'll be the first one to tell you, it's not easy. You see me, you see my penthouse, you see all of the stuff I have, the diamond bracelet, but I worked my fucking ass off. There was a definition of success that I really liked, and it went like this. Success is when you can do whatever you want, wherever you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want. So I started digging deeper into e-commerce. How can I make money faster? How can I make more money? And one thing I realized, it was too slow. I needed more money to make more money. I needed to go faster. I started taking all of that energy that I was putting into sales, and I started putting it into my business, which was social media marketing. I realized that with e-commerce, I had to sell so many products, and then the money wouldn't come back fast enough for me to reinvest it in the marketing. On top of that, I had to pay for products. I needed capital in order to make an e-commerce business bigger. So I did more research, and I learned about social media marketing. I realized I could get people to pay me to run their business. That way, I didn't have to put all the money up front to start my own. I could get paid to run the marketing on social media for their business. Facebook ads, Google ads, email marketing, etc., content creation. And when I came to that revelation, it was go time. I was grinding hard for a year straight. I got my social media marketing agency to 30 grand a month.
Check this out. We spent $2,400 on ads, and we actually made $12,000, and Cyber Monday is not even over yet. So take advantage of Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
And I kept going, and because I was making so much money, I was partying super hard too. I was living all of my 17-year-old Wolf of Wall Street dreams. I got to live those. And just like I said in the beginning of the video, when you find a win, when you get success, you always want more. So I went from $49 paychecks to $3,000 paychecks to $3,000 a week to $300 in sales to then $30,000 a month with my social media marketing agency. I was ecstatic. I barely slept all of 2018 because of all of the grinding, hustling, and partying I was doing. All of that work eventually paid off. During this entire time, I was still obviously reading, learning. Here, take a look at my library from my old apartment. I was on fire, and at that point, I had the momentum. The world was in my hands. In 2019, something very, very big happened. I had my first $100,000 day.
What you play? I was paying mama's rent when I was turning 17. So
we gonna do 100K today! This is not normal, this doesn't happen every day, but it happened and it really woke me up. It was the same eye-opening moment, a beautiful moment, a moment where I couldn't be happier than anything in the world. Just like when I went from $49 paychecks to $3,000 paychecks, just like when I made $3,000 in a week, just like when I had an e-commerce store that did $300, just like when my agency made $30,000, this was a moment. I had just made $100,000 in one day. I was a kid that had no college education, had a single mom who was an immigrant that never made over 40 grand a year. And I went from $49 paychecks to over $100,000 in a day. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced. And since then, I've been building my brand on social media. I've been starting other businesses and brands, just like Unlimiter back there. And I've been enjoying my life. I've been traveling, I've been meeting incredible people, I've been having amazing experiences with food and culture, and it makes me excited because my journey isn't over yet. I don't party as much anymore, but if there's anything I've learned, it's that this entire experience was worth every second. All the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into building my business, building my brand, building my knowledge, all of it was worth it. The journey is everything. So if you've been looking to start your own business, build your own brand, whatever it is, chase your dreams, I'm telling you now, do it, because all of it, every second of it is worth it at the end. Thank you for listening to my story. This one was real emotional. But yeah, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more videos like this. And as always, love you guys. Break rules, never make them. She act up, I replace her.